Hit music belongs here on your number one station.
Hey, this is Naledi and you are listening to Incoko with Khanya Sitsheke.
None of us sucker punch. Feel good.
Yes, we're feeling good. Welcome to the show Incoko with myself, Khanya Sitsheke. This is a show where we bring you interviews or rather conversations with those who are making waves in their respective industries or spaces. So ke abo ngabantu who have paved the way in making sure that amaphupha wabo ayaphumelela. Amaphupho wabo atheni azophumelela. Yeah, so in each episode sibane Incoko with lo mntu we have identified. Otherwise hlala phansi urelaxe usiyeke sikuphakele apha kwi Incoko with Khanya Sitsheke.
Number one means you're always on top. Your number one radio.
Yes, so on today's episode, Sincokola with a young lady who is in her 20s and is such an inspiration to her peers. She is 24 years of age. She's an honors UCT graduate. She's also a poet, and I love her writings so much. Listen, she recently enrolled at Harvard University for her master's. Igama lakhe nguThabile Jezile. Tavi, welcome to the show.
Hey, Khanya.
Jonga, I really tried to come up with an interesting intro for you. How did you find it?
Oh, Doug, let me just correct you, ne? On one thing. It's Howard University, not Harvard.
It's Howard.
Yes.
Okay.
Harvard is a more it's a white institution.
Okay.
Whereas Howard is a historically black university, so I specifically enrolled in that university for that reason. So it's Howard, not Harvard.
Cool. Thanks for that. Listen, I'm more exposed to Harvard. I didn't.
Yes.
Howard is the first.
That's the thing. I think a lot of people confuse it. So every time I say I'm doing my master's at Howard, they think I'm saying Harvard.
Yeah.
But they sound similar.
Yeah, listen, regardless of that, it's still a big thing. So, anyway, how would you describe yourself if one were to ask you to tell us about yourself? How would you describe Thabile Jezile?
Well, Thabile is joyous, I believe, and she is deeply rooted in spirituality and culture. And Thabile is kind-hearted and respectful, and I guess funny at times. She loves to laugh and read and just write until my pen runs out. So yeah, that's me basically in a nutshell.
I love it. A lot of people I know always hate this question. Tell us about yourself.
You know what? I try to just go for it. I try to just say, you know what, you know yourself. Why are you acting like you don't know yourself? Just tell them what you know. You're confident, you believe in God, you this, you that, you laugh, you cry, you feel things.
Beautiful.
So let the people know, bruh.
Beautiful. Now, tell us, where did Thabile grow up? And what school did she go to?
Okay, so I was basically born in Cape Town, and then I spent the first 8 years of my life in Cape Town. So I went to, my crash, I went to Crayons Educate Center. It's somewhere in Athlone. It's in Athlone.
Yeah.
And then I spent the first 2 years of my primary schooling at Rosebank Primary School or Junior School. I can't remember the actual name. And then in grade 3, I moved to Pretoria. and I finished my primary schooling career at Waterproof Primary. And then I think it was in 2010, that's when I was in grade 8. So I went to Pretoria High School for Girls, matriculated there, and then I went to UCT in 2015, did my undergrad there, graduated in 2019, enrolled for my honors at UCT for the year of 2019. And then now in 2020, I'm doing my master's at Howard.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. and what inspires Tavi?
I think I draw inspiration from everything, basically. I mean, with every person that I meet, I automatically see the good in them. I draw a lot of inspiration from nature. I love being outside. I don't know, there's just a calmness that I feel whenever I'm by the ocean or just surrounded by trees. So I love just being in a serene space, very quiet. I think I'm most inspired by love, whether it be relationship, like romantic, or even just the love that you feel for family and the love that you feel between friends. Because I feel like it's either you love someone or you don't. So I don't want to say hate, but it's either you love or you don't. That's it. It's just love. Yeah. So I draw inspiration mostly from love and from art, music, a lot of poetry. There's this lady, her name is Raina Bedi. She's my favorite poet. I draw a lot of inspiration from her. She has like this podcast. It's called Unpack and Bounce Back, where she speaks about issues that that we all confront within our 20s, especially, and just overcoming mental health or mental illness rather, and just learning to love yourself more and respect yourself more, setting those healthy boundaries. So yeah, those are the types of things I draw inspiration from. That and spirituality as well. A lot of my poems are written in a way that's more in a prayer form, because I feel like whenever I'm writing, I'm speaking to God, and He speaks through me whenever I write my pieces. So I always make sure my heart is in it. I make sure my focus is in it, and that's what's inspired. That's what inspires me, basically.
The podcast you mentioned, what platform is it on?
It's on Spotify.
Spotify.
Yes.
Okay. What's the name of it again?
It's Unpack.
Unpacked.
And Bounce Back. So the end is an N, not an end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Unpack and Bounce Back.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Nice. Beautiful. So, what are your dreams and aspirations as Thabile Jezile?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I would love to just enjoy my life. That's the one thing I would love to do. I just want to enjoy my life, and I see myself as an author, someone who is within the academic space as well. I'd love to do lecturing or teaching in some form, because I speak a lot. I talk. I talk. I can talk for hours, bruh. So I think I'd definitely love to be in the lecturing space. Also, just the artistic space. I'd love to record my poetry, and
so you're definitely going to the doctorate level.
Yes, I think so. Because I'm already there,
Is it? And you're almost there now. Now at master's level, you're going there.
You know what? That's the more I study, the more I realize that I don't know anything.
True. That is true.
It's very interesting. I'm so interested in this degree that I'm doing, because the conversations that we have, it's just like, people need to be exposed to this. Why must I be in university to be having these kinds of conversations? Why can't people who don't have access and who are just, ordinary people, why can't we think in this way? So that's one of my passions. I want to bring this type of knowledge to just my people, Brian, share it with the world, with my books, and I don't know, I'd love to travel, and definitely would love to get married one day, settle down, have kids. Cause I love family. I love family. That's just the one thing that I'm really passionate about.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about your degree, that you're currently doing later on.
Okay.
But you spent most of your life in Pretoria, ne?
Yes.
Or especially your adolescent years, ne? Your adolescent years.
Yeah.
But you're now based in Cape Town. And you seem to be enjoying it in Cape Town more than any other city. Why is that? Why is that?
Why, also? Why are you doing this? No, listen, you know what? I actually arrived from Cape Town yesterday. I'm in Joburg now. But Cape Town, that's the city that birthed me. That's home for me, you know. And like
Makes
I said
sense.
earlier,
But
I
it has
love
to be more than that. I know it's more than that.
What are you trying to do?
No, out with it. Okay.
Besides the nature, I mean, I fell in love there. I'm in a committed relationship. I mean, I met him when I was in first year, and it's just been on and off from then, you know. And I guess we just growing, and you know, like things just relationships are tough, guys. You know, it's easy to walk out and to just say, you know, I'm done. But you know, like I have the will to carry on because I feel like God is at the center of it all. And yeah, like I fell in love, man. I fell in love. That's honestly speaking. And I think I also found a sense of independence there in Cape Town, which I really love. I mean, I just cultivated my own type of like lifestyle, and you know, just doing things like yoga and hiking and just exercise and a lot of reading and just having an order in my household, you know, just being in a space where I can focus and be clear and meditate and just, you know, focus on myself. I really love my space. So that's why I love Cape Town, because I think I feel a sense of peace there. And yeah, I really love the nature. And it reminds me, because when I was young, growing up in Cape Town, I used to take a lot of drives with my dad. So we used to drive, you know, sometimes even at night, we used to just like go and drive. So every time I take a drive or I go to like Hout Bay, you know, I think of those memories. I go back and just think of, you know, I'm so connected to my father here.
Beautiful.
So yeah, it's very linked to my childhood. It's linked to my newfound independence. It's linked to me falling in love, and that's.
Okay, we're gonna talk more about your writings now, hey? But I want us to go for a commercial break. Then when we come back, we dwell on that.
Okay, perfect.
Cool.
My pencils are really, really special. They're Spar Right Stuff pencils, and they do more than just write. For real, I promise. They're bendy. See, I can tie my hair up with them. And they make cool bangles too. And Mommy says they help lots and lots of children in South Africa. I'll be collecting all 5 colours, you bet.
Do the right thing and buy your kids Spar Right Stuff pencils with a purpose. They're only R4, and Spar will donate all proceeds to Operation Hunger's school feeding scheme. Now that's the right stuff.
Yeah, we're back. You still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, cool. Now let's talk about you being a writer. Yeah. If you can
I don't even know where to begin, honestly, because I think from the age of 10 or 11, I had my own diary, and it had a lock on it. So I had a specific key to open up my diary. I wrote all of my secrets there, and I locked it up and I hid it. So So from that age, you know, it was an outlet. Writing has always been an outlet for me, just emotionally. Before I even grew in my spiritual practice, it was just it became something like my best friend, if I can put it in that way. Because I didn't have a lot of friends growing up, and even now I still don't have a lot of friends, and I think I have a tough time trusting people.
Me and you, same WhatsApp group.
But I'm learning to just, you know, ease up on that because it's tough. But I really I write just to express myself, to express my frustration, to express my love sometimes, because I mean, even when I had a crush on someone, I couldn't tell them, so I'd write about it and say, oh, I love you so much, you know, things like that. So I can't tell you, you know.
Sorry to cut you, ne? What style of writing would you say defines you as a writer?
Ducks. I can't put myself in a box because I think I'm very, I don't know. I think at this point in time, I can't put myself in a specific genre of writing.
Makes sense.
Because I'm still writing for myself primarily. But I think I'm moving towards more fiction, political fiction, and I think maybe a bit of feminism in there, but that ties into political. So yeah, but right now it's basically, for me, it's more spiritually based. So yeah. What was I gonna say, Ganin? I think in 2017, 2017 was a huge turning point for me in my writing career, I'd say.
Tell us about that.
Well, I was living with one of my cousins. We shared a flat.
Yeah.
So you know, just things were good at first, and then, you know, we just got carried away. You know, we got carried away with the lifestyle of just, you know, going crazy, being students, having people over. You know, things got hectic, and I got to a point where I tried to kill myself. I tried to take my own life, and you know, that whole thing was so traumatic for her because she was living with me, and it was traumatic for me. It was traumatic for, you know, my parents. So in that point, I think I really relied on my writing because I felt so judged and so misunderstood. Because it's like people, especially like in black families, they're like, we don't need depression, we don't need, like, you know, just explain it to us. And, you know, you can't really explain that sometimes I don't feel like getting out of bed. Sometimes I feel so empty that I could just, you know, I don't even feel anything. And I was put on medication for some time, but it numbed me. I did not feel anything. And I think at that point it was okay because I guess I was feeling too much. So, but then I eventually got off the medication because I just told myself that no, I actually want to feel again. I want to be expressive. Because at some point in that, I couldn't even laugh, you know. Like someone would say something so funny and I'd just be there. I'd just be sitting there like this dead thing. So writing for me in that sense.
So you got off medication the same year, 2017?
I think, yeah, I took it only for about 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I decided that no, I'm gonna take myself off of this thing, and just really focus on doing things like yoga, mindfulness, writing, things that are just good for me. And in that point, I was very isolated as well. I was just away. No one knew what was going on with me, and I really took the time to just dive into just my mind. And a lot of my writing came from that dark space. I was writing from a very dark space in 2017. Yeah, and I think I always say this. I find God when I write, and
beautiful.
It's it saved my life. Like writing has saved my life. And whenever I feel those thoughts of suicide come back, I always turn to my journal and I just write them down and I pray, and so it definitely saved my life. And that's why I guess I'm more on the mental health side. Yeah, there's your answer. I think I'm more on the mental health side because I'm always having to give myself some affirmations as to you are worthy. You are worthy in God's eyes. So it doesn't matter how you feel about yourself. God sees you as worthy, and you need to run with that. And those affirmations really brought me back and out of the darkness. So yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Shout out to you for pulling yourself out of a pit, my darling.
You know what, Dax? Thank you, but I couldn't have done it on my own, honestly. It's first and foremost, it's God. It's my ancestors. It's the support of my family. I mean, like my aunt, like our aunt, right? And like she has had a lot of issues with these kinds of feelings of hopelessness and depression and things like that. So I felt supported by her. I felt supported, and just that whole experience, because now she's no longer with us. And I always take it away that if you were not there, I don't know where I would have ended up, because I needed someone from our family to understand where I was coming from, and she was there. She was there for me 100% of the time, because she knew how it felt to feel hopeless. So yeah.
Nice, beautiful. Tavi Jezile, I'm sure the listeners would love to hear you reciting, even if it's one piece of writing. Do us the honor, please.
Oh my word!
Do us the honor, please. Just one piece of writing, please.
Why did you not tell me?
Okay, I'm gonna give you.
Okay, let me try and find something here on my notepad, because this journal that I have out with me now, it's more of Bible verses and reflection. So let me try and find a poem. Okay, you know what? I think I know which one.
Cool. Let's hear it.
Okay, just hold on. I can't believe you. Yo.
Sorry for putting you on the spot.
But that we could have prepared. I could have,
I'm sorry. I really should have, eh?
Okay, so this is called I Am, and it's called, and like in brackets, it's written on Oath to Self. So it goes, I'm a water drinker and an incense burner. I'm a soul searcher and a freedom chaser. I'm a shore lover and a seed planter. I'm a goal setter and a self-affirmer. I'm a spirit explorer and a vibe reader. I'm a truth listener and a willing learner. I'm a poems writer and a flow rhymer. I'm a nature walker and a flower talker. I'm a sun's laughter and a moon's daughter. I'm a star's Libra and a mystical creature. I'm an ocean's breather with a cool demeanor. I'm a dream believer and a peace receiver.
Beautiful. Beautiful choice of words right there. What inspired you to write that?
You know what? Honestly speaking, it was random. I think I was literally drinking water. And then I said, I'm a water drinker. And then I'm like, okay, I'm a water drinker. I'm drinking water, okay, sharp, I'm a water drinker. And then I'm like, okay, what else do I do? What else am I? And then I'm like, okay, I'm a water drinker and an incense burner. Okay. And then it just flowed. I was just thinking of myself and affirming and saying, okay, you know what? Let me play with the things that I do and embody it. Like, I think in English they call it personification.
Yeah.
So when you give inanimate objects human qualities. So I gave those things the quality of me, and then I just merge the two. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah, you're making perfect sense. Yeah. Very inspiring. You're such a creative, eh? A true artist right there.
You know what? Sometimes I feel like it's not me who's writing these things. It's like I can't. In myself, I can't come up with these things. There has to be some sort of a higher power that's taking over. Yeah.
Nice.
I can't believe you put me on the spot like that.
You must be prepared for anything with me.
But that's the thing. I think now, like, a lot of people do that to me. It's like, oh, you write a poem? Please tell me, or say a poem, one of your poems. And it's like, oh, guys, I can't. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, do you perhaps have a blog where people can find your writings and stuff, a blog or a website?
Yes, I've got a blog. I used to attach it. I did attach it to my Instagram at some point, but then I removed it because I don't know. I think I'm trying to do something more with my writing, because I'm trying to go more towards the essay-based type writing and critical writing. Yeah, and then keeping my Instagram to more of the lighter poetry type thing. But I do have a blog. It's called thabilejezile.wordpress.com, where you can find some of my pieces and my writings and all of that. Yeah, but sometimes I go back there and I cringe. I just, how could I say this? How could I post this? But, you know, as a writer, you have to be vulnerable and you have to be open about yourself and your story. And, you know, sometimes, I mean, coming from the background that I come from, it's like we are not encouraged to be open or as open about our feelings in such an expressive way, because it's seen as revealing too much. But I think that's what makes my writing what it is, because I'm pouring my heart and soul into it, you know.
And we can feel it. We can feel it. Okay, we're gonna take a break again. Siyabuya ndifuna usibalisele about you being accepted at Howard University. Siyabuya ngoku ne?
Okay, cool.
Pick and Pay Hypermarket, bring your car, you can park it. What a great place for you to shop.
If you're doing it yourself, this 10mm 2-speed famous make and really versatile hammer drill is a gift at just 48 Rand 95. And this famous make electric jigsaw, a cut above the rest, also only 48.95. So save with our low DIY prices at
Hypermarket, Pick and Pay, one-stop shopping, non-stop savings. Join the savings tribe.
Yes, welcome back to Incoko with Khanya Sitsheke. Just a reminder, Singola no Thabile Jezile, a UCT Honours graduate. She is a writer, and you can find her work on her... What are your social media handles again? Are you... Yeah?
So I'm now based on Instagram only. I mean, I only use my Facebook for Red Table Talk, but I don't use that platform. But on
What's
Instagram, you can find me at Jezile_.
Jezile_?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, right, before we went to the break, when you take us and Funusbalsele, you know, you being accepted at Harvard University. Ne?
Howard.
Sorry, man. Sorry. Howard University. Yeah. Tell us about that.
Let's not confuse people.
I'll get used to it.
Yeah. Well, it was actually weird because it was in the early hours of the morning. So I think it was at around 3 a.m. So I don't know what I was doing up. But I actually decided, you know what, let me just check my email. And then I see Howard University. And I'm like, you. And then I just see like the subject of the email, it says admissions decision. I was like, oh, nonsense. And then I open it and I see congratulations. And I'm like,
wow. A milestone it is, Tavi.
You know what? It was a hard process. You know, just getting in there, the amount of money you have to pay, number one, just to apply, the amount of things that you have to do just to get in. And then once you are accepted, then there's another process that has to go into play, you know? And right now I'm still within that process, even though we started like school on online. But for the mere fact that I'm still based in South Africa, there's things that I need to sort out, like my visa, for instance, getting a place that side, getting my medical immunization.
And where specifically is Howard University?
Where specifically?
Yeah, which country? Where is it?
Also, okay, so it's in the United States and it's based in Washington, D.C., in the state of D.C.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Listen, on behalf of myself and the listeners, a very big congratulations to you.
Thank you.
You are rising and shining.
You.
It's your season, my dear.
Thank you so much. And you know what? Imposter syndrome is so real because just interacting with the students now online, a lot of American students are not exposed to learning about other countries outside of their home. So it's very interesting to just hear some of our perspectives, like people from Africa, for instance, who are telling them about their countries. And I think it has to do it comes from a place of privilege. Because I think my father says, he always says that America thinks that they are the world, and it's not the case, I mean,
absolutely.
at UCT, for instance, whenever we did assignments, they would always say, please draw examples from outside of South Africa, and we'd always have to look up and read on other countries and give that context, because if you just give South African examples, that's when you fail, and specifically for my major in international relations, they basically focus on world or global issues. So you have to go outside of your country. So it's quite interesting to see how these international relations scholars, that side in the States, they only learn about themselves. So I always bring it up that, you know what, you guys need to read. And there's this one girl who's actually very interested in just learning more about African writers, especially like African feminist writers. So I give her some references on things and books she can check out. But yeah, there's a gap. There's a huge gap. But definitely I think that our education system here is much more rigorous in getting the students to learn about other places outside of their immediate home. Yeah.
Beautiful. And what exactly are you studying now? It's masters in?
So now I'm doing a master's in political science, and I specialize in international relations. And then I'm basically working towards writing a master's thesis, and that is based on the Fourth Industrial Revolution. And I'm basically I'm critiquing whether every change is a revolution, because with the first industrial revolution, the second and third, like technological revolutions, they have this kind of leading narrative that says that yes, we are going towards progress, new technologies. We are all going to benefit from all these technological advancements. But it's not necessarily the case, because the people who have historically been discriminated against and who have been historically exploited, they are still continuously being exploited. So it's basically that idea of the rich are continuously getting richer and the poor are continually getting poorer, and there's no change in that type of relationship. Those power relations are still maintained. So that's what I'm basically writing about in my thesis, and I think I'm bringing it back to South Africa. I'm going to use South Africa as a case study, because I really want to get into it, because like my honors degree, it didn't give me that space to go into depth. And as a writer, I love to go into depth. I love to read up on history and really give you guys the historical context of where this idea comes from, where that certain condition comes from. So that's basically what I'm doing now in my master's.
That's really interesting, eh? And you must really take it to South Africa. Let it come back. Use South Africa as a case study, because I mean, something I've noticed with this COVID-19 thing, né? It has exposed so much that, when we speak about the digital divide, we look at like just how you said with the people who were previously disadvantaged, people who have not had access to the net. You're talking about school kids.
Exactly.
Like everyone was studying from home now.
Exactly.
With COVID-19. And
you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? For the mere fact that, COVID is actually the fourth industrial revolution playing
true.
out right in front of our eyes.
That's true.
For the mere fact that we are doing this interview over the phone, it tells you where we are already as a global society. And now all of these materials, just going to Howard University, there's a lot of reading materials, and even the classes are online now.
Yeah, you're still in South Africa and Howard is in the US. If you didn't have data, it wouldn't be possible,
It relies on students having their own laptops, their own internet connection, their own type of resources or access to resources. What happens to students who don't have a sponsorship, What happens to students who don't have access to the internet? For me, like at Howard, they don't give you data. So I've had to now get myself a modem and load it. I load it with like 20 gigs every month and an additional 10 gigs. So that in itself, 20 gigs costs, I don't know, 699. This is for Vodacom now. 699 rand.
Yeah, listen, I'd love to.
People don't have, that's groceries, bro.
I'd love to read your master's thesis when you're done.
Oh.
Hey, it's such an interesting one.
You know what? Academic writing is very difficult to read. So if you can get through all of those, those complicated type of ideas.
Don't worry. I'm used to it.
Academic writing. Whenever someone says, I want to read your thesis, I'm like, are you sure? Okay.
Tabs, in a nutshell, what does this mean to you? You being accepted at Howard University. You're a South African student, you're a South African citizen. You spent all your life here, and now you enrolled at Howard University out of the country in the US. What does it mean to you in a nutshell?
So you know what, Midas? This just affirms for me at the basis of it all that God is real. Because I told myself from the moment I went to UCT in 2015, I told myself I'm going to get my undergraduate degree from UCT. I'm going to get my honors degree from UCT. And then after that, I'm going to go to the United States and do my master's. That's what I knew from the get-go. Even before I got to UCT, I wrote it down. So I manifested this and I worked towards it. And I spoke to people who knew what it took to get into specific programs, because my cousin is a cousin of mine who's now doing her doctorate on my dad's side. And she told me, she's like, if you want to get into your postgrad, just make sure that your marks are good. Just make sure your marks are good so that you can be considered for your honors course. Because I was playing that. I was playing in the first 2 years for my undergrad. I was playing. And my majors, I switched majors because I started with economics. And I'm like, there's no way. And this is I had to change. So, but then I was lucky that it didn't set me back. I changed when it was early enough. But then I knew that, okay, I want to do my honors. I need to work hard. I need to get my marks straight, So it just affirmed for me that God is real. And for me, getting into this master's degree now and being a master's student, I've actually started studying the Bible. So I was actually speaking to God this other day, and I was just like, you know what? I didn't realize that being a master's student would entail me actually mastering your word. And it's crazy because it's like now you're at a point where you are disciplined enough to sit down and actually read what I have to tell you. This is God speaking to me. You're not here simply to just get another degree on your name. No. You are here to grow spiritually. You are here to grow in intimacy with me. You are here to spread my word with the world. You are here to learn my wisdom. You are here to become my wisdom. So this is what being a master student is. It's not just simply doing whatever it is that you need to do just to get that degree. It's building character. Your character is now being developed. You need to now speak to people. You need to study. You need to sit alone and be with me and hear what I have to say and what my plan is for you and what you need to do. So this whole time, I think I've been thinking a lot about purpose and moving in purpose and intentionality, and just basically aligning all of my actions and my life and all the different parts of my life with God. I've asked Him to move into every single thing. The way I write up assignments now is different from the way I did last year and in undergrad. I used to just do assignments so that I can hand them in and finish and pass. Now it's a thing of actually learning and taking the time with it and building up an actual, argument, just to say, okay, this is what's what. Basically answering the question, but realizing that even though I've submitted this thing, I'm not done learning what I needed to learn from that assignment. I'm still learning from it. Yeah. So it's a lot. The learning experience is very connected to my living experience, and God is saying to me that you need to marry the two. You cannot separate them. You cannot let yourself be stressed out by school and neglect your household duties. You have to have a balance. You cannot neglect your spiritual duties because you have to have a balance. Because I gave you this gift. I gave you this opportunity. So now you're not going to give anything back. You're not going to express gratitude. You're not going to pour back into me. There's no way. There's no way. So that's what being a master student means to me, and that's what it's new and it's uncomfortable, and it's basically taking me away from everything that I knew and people that I know. But there's not a doubt in my mind that I'm ready for it, and I'm prepared, Doug. I'm prepared, and I think God intentionally put this COVID in place so that I could study His word a little bit more before I even go that side, because I think I would have been a mess. So, yeah.
Profound. Beautiful, profound, and powerful. Mamela, I know COVID-19 has had a huge impact on our lives, né?
Yes.
And I'm sure it's the reason you are still here in South Africa, starting remotely.
Yes.
Now, since COVID is still a thing, when are you going to the States, or will you be going?
Well, I'm trying to actually go in December because the spring semester. I don't know if it's spring or winter.
Something
These
to
seasons
learn.
are so tricky. But the next semester after this one, it starts on the 7th of January, and so basically I have to be there maybe no less than 30 days prior to that semester beginning. So I'm hoping to leave in December.
Okay.
But I hope the cupcake doesn't close the borders again. I just really hope.
Let's pray. And how long is the semester that side?
The semester is usually, I think, maybe 3 months. It's similar to ours. It's similar to ours, but then it's different in timing. That's what it is. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, Taps. In closing now, I'm first gonna give a shout out again. Huge congratulations on your new milestone again. Thank you so much. Also, thank you so much for taking the time to come and talk to us here on the show. And all the best with your future endeavors. My message to you. It is your season to reign, so rise and shine, child of God.
Oh, Dark Sado. You know what? Thank you for thinking of me, bruh. Because, I actually prayed on this and I said, God, one day I'd love to have a podcast and just speak to people. Just speak. I would just like to talk. I like to talk. So now when you called me, I was just like, what? Like, what? This is not... I remember that conversation we had when you asked me. I'm like, but I asked for this last week, and now you're giving me this opportunity. You are hearing me. You are truly hearing me. So thank you, that's because this serves as a confirmation for me that I'm doing okay. I'm on the right path, and I'm just, I'm leading with faith, basically, and I'm being connected to those who are also on that same frequency. So I love our conversations. I love the energy that we have, and you're so easy to speak to and open up to. So yeah, thank you for considering me, bruh. Thank you.
Oh, it's all a pleasure, Tabs. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
Thank you, Dax. I'll talk to you then.
Sharp. Enjoy your day.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Hey, this is Naledi, and you are listening to Incoko with Khanya Sitsheke.
Right. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this podcast with myself and my amazing and very expressive guest, Thabile Jezile. Thank you so much. So please, let us meet now on the next episode. Apho ngizobe ngcola khona nomama uNoxolo Grootboom. Please watch out, don't miss out. So my name is Khanya Sitsheke. Bye bye, and thank you for listening. Bye bye.